Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the By Sing Lit Children's Book Bazaar 2021. My name is Natasha, and I'll be your host for today. To encourage the love of reading among children, the Singapore Book Publishers Association is organizing a By Sing Lit Children's Book Bazaar from today as part of the hashtag By Sing Lit movement, which is supported by the National Arts Council. The official venue sponsor is the National Library Board, and the online book sales is powered by Lazada as the official e-commerce partner. This hybrid event is filled with stage performances here at the library and online programs curated for the consumers in mind. While the online book fair is happening at www.bookbazaar.sg, you can also shop, watch, and participate in our activities and events virtually. So, to get the event rolling, we're happy to have Mr. Max Pua, Singapore Book Publishers Association President and Managing Director of World Scientific, to give his opening speech. Mr. Max Pua, please.
Thanks, everyone. Dear friends, thank you for taking the time to attend the launch of By Sing Lit Children's Book Bazaar. As a father of 4 children, ages 3 to 14, my wife and I have spent countless enjoyable hours in the library and bookshops with our kids. I will say that books play one of the most crucial part of a child's growth and development. As we know, the benefit to a child from developing a reading habit is limitless. And it is truly a great joy for parents, teachers, guardians, writers, publishers, librarians, and even bookshop owners to introduce the love of reading to them. This By Sing Lit Children event focuses on books on Singapore, our heritage, culture, traditions, areas of interest, and actually anything Singapore. So I think it's actually very interesting because there are so many books globally for children, but there's so few opportunities to showcase books specifically about Singapore. I would like to express our appreciation for the National Arts Council for the support for this event, which is an industry-led movement to celebrate stories from Singapore. We do hope that NAC will continue to support activities such as today's event so that our strong literary traditions can continue to flourish. Special thanks to NLB for their generous support for the venue, and hope that our partnership will continue to strengthen as we work towards developing a vibrant reading culture in Singapore. Thank you to our e-commerce partner, Lazada, for partnering with SBPA to ensure that publishers have a larger marketplace online to sell our books. Lastly, I would like to thank our production partner, Silver Sea Media, and production team Muse for working on a new innovative platform to promote stories from Singapore to our children, and also producing and coordinating the live streams and videos for this event. I hope everyone enjoys the program today and also for the next few days. And a big thank you to our partners and colleagues who have worked so hard to make this event possible. Thank you, take care, and stay safe.
Thank you, Mr. Max Pua, for your sharing. Next, we are pleased to invite Mr. Syed Ali Semait, Chairperson of the Book Fair Subcommittee and Managing Director of Pustaka Nasional, to share more about the By Sing Lit Children's Book Bazaar. Mr. Syed Ali, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Max, for the inspiring speech. I'm here to provide a brief overview of the Bai Sing Lit Children's Book Bazaar 2021 and the programs and activities coming up. The Bai Sing Lit Children's Book Bazaar covers our official languages, Chinese, English, Malay, and Tamil. Due to the limited space here, there are only 10 participants who have display of their latest children's books here. They are Asia Pac Books, Banjo and Sons, Candid Creations, Experiences and Experiments, JSIM Education, Lingzer Media, Marshall Cavendish International, Pan Asia Publishing, Pustaka Nasional, and World Scientific Education. You can come to the library to browse their selected titles on display and make your purchases online by our e-commerce partner Lazada. This bazaar will still be a hybrid event. Do come to the library to visit our book display stands. You can visit our website bookbazaar.sg for a list of events and activities being offered. All events will be on SBPA's Facebook and YouTube channels. Similarly to the Mother Tongue Book Bazaar, which was held here in September, we have 6 virtual halls: bookstore, events, activities, promotion, storyland, and competition. The first virtual hall is the bookstore hall. Click on it and it will bring you to the landing page in Lazada, where you can find our participants' offers, discounts, and sales of our local children's books. The event hall is where we have our weekday events, either in person by invitation or by book launches or by parenting talks on Zoom. The activity hall is where we have the weekend events, here in person at the library, and are open to the public to register on Eventbrite to participate in these activities. Do register early as tickets are limited due to SMM measures. Some activities are already sold out. The promotion hall is where you can find free giveaways by our publishers and SBPA. We would like to thank Banjo and Sons and Pustaka Nasional for providing the free ebooks to those who register in the hall. We have something new. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the school holidays. Do you want to travel? Where there is no need for quarantine, no need for VTL rules, no need to put on masks, no need for PCR or ART tests, no worries of catching COVID-19 for you and your family members. SBPA and Silver Sea welcomes you to Storyland. In this virtual hall, there are 10 participant shops who will display for you and for you to explore, play games, win prizes, and shop. One of the prizes you can win in Storyland is to enter the Kids' Choice Award, whereby kids can vote for their favorite books by our participants. This is only for kids to choose. And SBPA will announce the winners at the end of the bazaar. So let's take a look at the contestants. kids, and you might be able to get your free book when you participate in this competition. Our final hall is the competition hall, whereby SBPA had invited primary school kids to submit a short video of them doing storytelling based on our local stories in our 4 official languages and in bilingual too. We have received 90 over submissions within 30 days. There were 2 categories. Category A is for children from ages 7 to 9, and category B is for children from 10 to 12. Let's see a clip of the competition. There are winners and non-winners, and it was difficult to select our top 10 finalists from each category. For those who did not make it to the final, don't despair. Keep practicing and reading aloud to your parents. They are your best audience. To those finalists, great effort. Thank you, parents, for the crazy support that you give us. And look out for an email soon from SBPA. Our judges will make the final selection after today's announcement on who will be the top 3 cash prizes winners to come and collect your trophies on the 5th of December here at 4:30 p.m. SBPA will be calling soon, so stay close to the telephone for that call. Now, before I end, do you want to know who are the top 10 finalists? Here are the top 10 finalists in no order of priority and who stand to win the top 3 cash prizes from each category. They are
All right, congratulations, finalists. We look forward to meeting you at the finals. And thank you, Mr. Said Ali, for the sharing. So let's get the program rolling. Sit back and relax as I invite our respective authors on stage for a joint book launch. First up, let's invite our first author, Rauda binti Alias, on stage to share about her book, Ferry Menjaga Kelestarian Laut. Rauda binti Alias, please.
Selamat tengah hari kepada semua yang saya amat bersyukur diberi peluang pada hari ini untuk tampil ke hadapan dan bercerita sedikit tentang buku saya. Titik bermulanya buku saya ni ialah pada tahun 2019 bila mana pihak penerbit telah membuka peluang kepada orang awam untuk mengikut serta dalam peraduan mengarang buku cerita Ferry. Dan kemudian saya tidak melepaskan peluang keemasan ini. Saya menulis beberapa buku dan 2 daripadanya terpilih. Saya memang gemar membaca buku kanak-kanak. Mungkin disebabkan setiap hari saya membaca buku kanak-kanak untuk kanak-kanak di sekolah. Jadi saya pun terkesan. Inspirasi saya juga datang dari anak-anak murid saya yang mana mereka ni suka bercerita, bertanya, dan mereka ini mempunyai imajinasi yang sangat luar biasa. Buku yang saya tulis ini ada menyentuh tentang emosi, kesedaran dan juga rasa sifat bertanggungjawab. Selain daripada itu, watak di dalam cerita Ferry ini hidup dan saya yakin dapat memberi kesan kepada pembaca-pembaca cilik kita, terutama watak si Ferry. Saya berharap yang saya dapat memupuk minat kanak-kanak untuk membaca juga menjadi suri tauladan kepada anak-anak saya sendiri, juga anak-anak murid saya untuk berani mencuba dan juga seronok menulis. Terima kasih kepada pihak penerbit kerana memberi peluang, keluarga saya yang menyokong minat saya, juga guru besar saya yang telah banyak menyokong, juga telah menanam sifat yakin diri dan juga berani mencuba. Akhir sekali, ayuh baca buku Ferry Menjaga Kelestarian Laut. Saya harap anda terhibur dan seronok membaca. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Rauda. Sounds like a delightful story for the young. So parents of 10 to 14-year-olds, have you ever asked yourself this question? My child writes well. Can he or she write a book? I'm sure you have. Let's take a look at this next video as we share the young author's journey.
Tell my own story, write my own tale. It's okay if at first I fail.
I started off with the Young Author Scheme because I love writing. A HOD from a school asked me, why don't you coach my kids to write a book? And as usual, I jumped in. We have gone on to mentor, to build young authors from 2003 to 2021, probably close to about 9,000 young authors in all.
After making it into the semi-finals for the Hippo 2020 and English competition, I was recommended this young authors workshop, and my parents had encouraged me to do so to give myself more exposure.
I happen to be a bit of a bookworm, so I think they enrolled me in this scheme as they know of my love for books and they wanted me to have a feel of how publishing goes behind the scenes.
So my parents encouraged me to enroll to enhance my writing skills and gain bigger opportunities with the stories I create.
My form teacher actually nominated me when I was in primary 4. She nominated me and some of my other classmates to join this young author scheme.
The Young Readers Digest was given to us in school, and then at the very back of it, the creative writing workshops where they advertise, oh, you could write your own book. And I was like, I never have the motivation to do any of this myself, so I just did it.
This year, it's a 2-day workshop, about 4 hours each time, and the participants basically get mentored into what is a story. And at the end of it, they will write about a 1,000-word story. The top 3 will be mentored by me, a 30-minute mentoring session individually with me to develop their story to be entered into the Asian Young Author Award. We also offer mentoring sessions to those that write pretty well, and they can also enter for the Asia Young Author Award.
My writing skills and experiences were still very raw. But then at that time, I was also starting to build my passion for writing a bit. In my free time, I was think of some story plots, or I'll just write down some story ideas I have. It taught me how to effectively convey my message better and how to design the storybook more effectively.
We weren't limited to what we were limited to at school. For example, we had to follow a set of pictures, a title, and we had to write according to that.
They give you a box and they put you inside and they say, please write in this box. Creative writing is completely different. This is the box you had before. Now imagine the box doesn't exist and you write however much you want about whatever you want.
I always had an interest in writing, but I had no clear direction and I didn't know where to start. But the Young Author Scheme taught me how to write a good story, and it gave me the chance to publish my own book.
When you tell people that, or you tell your friends, hey, I wrote a book, the first thing they're going to ask is, could you let me have a read? It becomes a way of sharing something that you have written with the people around you, and so generally it's been positive. Back then it was a big deal and it was pretty great.
So my book is called Bathtub Mermaid, and it's about a teenage boy who is one day swallowed whole by a bathtub and finds himself underwater. My little sister quite enjoyed it.
It made me feel as though I'm in a bathtub swimming in gel. So when I read it, I even feel short of breath. So that for me is the best scene in the book.
It's called Wolf Trials.
The epilogue, where it was remarkably written in a sense that I thought the ending should be that way, but there's a twist to the ending.
Ophir, child of Lavan. Ophir is a child who dreams to become a brave warrior like Set the Glorious to escape poverty.
Don't push yourself to get risk to become the best. To me, this code, it's not only for the book, but it applies to us.
Gabby's Wish, and it's about a feast of chewing gum who is rather small, but she has a big heart, and her only wish is to help people.
It's called Artificial Fire. You know how you can get like the actual like physical copies of your book? When it came out, my mom was like, I want to buy like 50, and then like she started distributing them to her friends and like, look at what my daughter did.
I was mainly inspired by how many children that were like 11 years old to 18, where people had such creative ideas and they could all of a sudden converse through the sessions that we had together.
I enjoyed bonding with the other participants who were sitting around me. We like to read each other's stories and give each other's ideas.
Exercising your imagination, we kind of received a lot of encouragement to think about what we'd like to write about.
It also helped me to hone my writing skills and my command of the English language, which has greatly helped me up until today.
It made me write better in my English essays for exams or even worksheets. And it also helped my history because it involved a lot of writing at the time.
It has also opened my mind to learn so much more about the world around us.
By pure chance, I saw that Miss Catherine had joined Telegram immediately because, you know, the nature of Miss Catherine is that she's like, hi, I'm working on this, want to help out? And then I ended up resuming contact with her.
I don't remember interacting much with Miss Koo back then, but I remember feeling very grateful to her for starting this program, which gave us all the opportunity to publish our own book.
Catherine, if you know her personally or whether you know her professionally, she's a very creative lady and she has a very interesting zest for life. She's always on the go, always looking for new ideas to do things in a different way, exploring new opportunities, trying out new partnerships and collaborations.
Eileen was my very first editor and she brought a little bit of fun, you know, and also a lot of like the child in her and the young authors, and she communicated very well with the young authors.
As a writer myself, I find it very empowering to work with Catherine because she manages on a very creative standpoint when she does manage the team. She gives us a lot of wiggle room to explore our strengths.
Work environment to be very easygoing yet efficient. And I think that is something that professionally I want to be as well, both as a person as well as an editor, is to become a very accommodating person like Catherine.
Gwen is actually, if I'm not wrong, a final year lit student in NTU. She brings her own perspective and she's in her 20s, so I do feel that she relates pretty well with the young authors, same generation. In fact, some of the times when she does interviews and they talk about some actors, you know, I'm like, okay, so who is that? Different generation, but yeah, I'm glad for all my editors.
I was very fortunate to have a computer in my house very early in life. I'd actually started my first blog when I was 11. She was a huge part of my writing journey those few years.
I think that was when I realized what Catherine has always been fighting for, that kids can write. The kids have tons of ideas and kids can create content for other kids.
I had Carlo, who's right now back in the Philippines. He was an amazing editor. He was, I think, a communications person, did radio, fantastic voice, but he worked a lot on the magazines as well. The editors that I have actually worked so well with the kids, you know, they learn from the kids, and with that, I think it became very much a team effort.
The Young Author Scheme seems to present something different. I mean, it's not just a writing workshop. It takes you behind the scenes of how books are published, so it brings you from actually writing a story to the finished product.
I was hoping that he would be able to develop more interest in writing after attending the YAS workshop.
Children who are interested in story writing, give them attention and moral support. Like, for example, joining workshop or joining this. So we have to encourage our children on all the things that we know our kids is capable with.
The Young Author Scheme started in 2003, and we have gone on to the Malaysia Young Author Award, the Philippines Young Author Award, and this year, India Young Author Awards. I hope to bring the Young Author Award to China, to also Indonesia.
Because I was part of the alumni, I got the chance to judge 2019 to 2020's Young Author Awards.
First of all, there was a lot of scripts to read through. I was quite amazed at their talent, actually.
There was such a wide range of genres of stories, and each story had a different message, different moral, and a different way that touched people's hearts.
It was through Zoom. I got to see some of the participants' faces, and I was actually quite taken aback because I didn't expect such young people to have such mature sense of language and vocabulary.
One of the special things about Young Author Scheme is that it cherishes your content, and that's not something that you can get very much elsewhere when you publish anything, be it on the internet or through any other platform.
I have the Catherine Koo Writing Foundation, which hopes to give a voice to the marginalized, especially children, to tell their stories. In the Philippines, we went to help a school in Cavite, and I hope actually for them to be trained to write. One of them hopefully can come into the Young Author Award, or a few of them. I'm looking for publisher partners or education partners, because the Young Author Award grooms the child, gives the child perspectives that, in real life they cannot become or something, or they long for. So writing is another way into your own world, because writing is something that we share, and in sharing we learn so much about ourselves.
Having your content valued unconditionally is very hard to find. It's very special, and that's what allows you to grow. When you yourself and people around you value your content, that gives you the safe space to create and grow.
Explore my own creations, expand my imagination with UEC, unique like me.
Inspiring video. Now let's put our hands together to welcome Miss Catherine Koo.
Thank you, Natasha. Yes, isn't this crazy to think that just 2 years ago, this cannot and would not happen? But COVID-19, before then, a book launch would be just a book launch. 2 years ago, you won't have this audience here. We had a book launch, some of my young authors and all that. It was just like a friends, family, at most 10. But today, for my young authors, we have this big crowd, and also the audience, the virtual audience. We have Zoom now, we have Facebook Live, we have YouTube Live, and it's really a good time to launch a book, and for that matter, any new product, right? So yes, today, I take really, really great pleasure to introduce 4 young authors. 1 12 years old, I just found out, 3 14-year-olds, right? I have Oliver, I have Megan, Redeemer, and Simling, whom I'm sure will grow up and do great things, like Kendrick, whom you saw just now, who came into the YAS when he was 12 years old from Temasek Primary School, if I'm not wrong, and he's now a lawyer, and he still writes, except documents and, legal pieces, Like many of my young authors who loved reading, then they wrote their own stories. They never stopped writing, and I'm glad they didn't. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Catherine. Our first young author, Olivia Chia, won 3rd prize in the 2020 Asia Young Author Award. She says, the Young Author Scheme really broadened my perspective, and I learned so much more than just how to write good stories. The facilitator was very engaging and shared many insights from her deep experience in the world of publishing. The workshop was also very fun, especially the sharing of ideas with other aspiring young writers, something you don't often get to do in school. You even get to illustrate your own story. As an avid reader, the opportunity to learn about how books are actually made was invaluable. Please welcome Olivia to share about her book, Bathtub Mermaid. Olivia, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pra and distinguished guests. Hi, I'm Olivia Chia and I'm 12 years old this year, and I'm the author of Bathtub Mermaid. Bathtub Mermaid is a story about the magical kingdom under our local seas, in which Tyler, our pimply hero, gets sucked into through an old bathtub, which happens to be a portal. Tyler was just a regular, geeky, polytechnic undergrad who was inadvertently thrust into an undersea civil war. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but in the book he managed to find some hidden courage to help the undersea queen fend off a rebellion which would have threatened the stability of her realm. I wrote this book 2 years ago when I was 10, during a phase in which I was really into fantasy novels. At that time, I felt that I wanted to create a story which would infuse some local flavor into the fantasy undersea world of mer people. Singapore is, after all, an island surrounded by water and has a rich maritime heritage. I did, however, try to keep the local infusion quite subtle, and in my opinion, this book is an easy read for young children who also enjoy the fantasy genre. I'm really happy to be here today to introduce and share my book with all of you. The opportunity and support given to me is really encouraging and will help me become a better writer in the future. The experience of having my little story published at such a young age is completely invaluable. I do hope it will encourage and inspire more aspiring young authors to produce work which can be shared with everyone. It is something achievable by anyone with an active imagination and a penchant for writing. If I may, I would like to leave you with a little piece of my writing. The polycarbonate bathtub I lay in was slightly stained, but otherwise in good condition. My aunt had bought it from an antique shop nearby where we lived in Ang Mo Kio. She always told me it was magical, but I didn't believe her. Magic was not real. It was just a childish explanation for things that people could not understand. This was 1 second before my life took a strange turn and changed forever. I felt the cold hand of a certain solid something slide over my hand to grip it. It held my wrist in a vice-like grip, nearly cutting off the circulation. The chill slid over my hand, then my forearm. I felt my body tilt sideways. Cold, dark fear gripped my heart, freezing me inside out, flushing the warmth from the placid bath water out of my body. I whipped my head round to face my arm, heart thumping like a professional drummer would bang a fast beat on the drum. My beloved hand was sinking through the polycarbonate. Panicking, I struggled and fought to pull my hand out of the polycarbonate beast, but to no avail. My lips contorted in fear and produced a shriek, piercing through the neighborhood like a samurai's katana. Soon, my entire left arm, left foot, and torso had already been devoured, lodged in solid wall, as if it were a mold and I its product. Before I knew it, my entire form had sunken through the polycarbonate bathtub, and all I could do was lay there helplessly in shock and horror, on the verge of tears. The very moment before the solid, man-eating material was closing over my pockmarked and acne-covered face, I give up and accept my fate. Pushing the fear and confusion that was clawing at my heart down. I knew I was going to die here. I knew it. I screw my eyes shut as my head gets pushed into the monster man-eating tub. My air supply is cut off. I feel my lungs lurch forward and my heart pound against my ribcage, fighting to break free. My lungs feel as though they are being boiled in scalding water and my vision darkens. Magic may really exist. My mind is racing. It will be over soon, I console myself, but it's not fast enough. Thank you.
Wow, what a story. Thank you, Olivia. Now on to our next young author and aspiring novelist, Ridhima Rampuria. Redeemer shares, my love for writing developed at an early age when I started writing short stories and slowly moving on to write novels. I would love to continue my writing and see myself as an accomplished writer one day. The Young Author Scheme is a good initiative as it encourages young writers to showcase their writing talent. It is a nice platform to give wings to the aspirations of young writers like me. Please welcome Redeemer to share about her book, The Truth About Legend. Redeemer.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Redeemer Rampuria. First of all, I'd like to thank Miss Catherine Koo for this opportunity, our guest of honor, Mr. Max Phua, and all of the other distinguished guests. The title of my book, as mentioned, is The Truth About Legend. It is about how three girls come together to find out the cause for all of the chaos that had been happening in their island. Throughout the story, they're met with several obstacles, and they would often doubt their abilities against a powerful villain. I wanted to use my writing to express different values, such as determination, bravery, justice, and compassion. I feel that these values are really crucial in our daily lives. So at different points in my story, my characters would showcase their values and attributes. Other than that, my story is mainly focusing on the theme of fantasy and adventure. So they have quite a few magical moments in them. I've always loved reading and writing about magic because it provides me with the chance to broaden my imagination and gives me a new perspective of life. My story has elements of mystery in it too, as I slowly unraveled the secrets behind the perfection of the island legend. I had dropped clues at a slow pace so that I could take the reader on a ride full of thinking and suspense. In my opinion, I was able to carefully mix mystery with the adventure that my characters had, which built a strong foundation for me to build a strong climax. Overall, I really enjoyed writing this short story as it gave way for me to better improve my writing style and creativity. Being published at this age was something unexpected and exciting for me. I had never seen it coming, but when it happened, it showed me that my dreams can be achieved at any age, as long as I kept striving for them. It was also a first step for me to become a renowned author in the future. This was the first writing competition that I had taken part in, and while writing this short story novel, I had faced many difficulties. There were times where I would feel just so frustrated because my ideas were not enough, they were not creative, and I was just not able to move my story forward. But then I realized that this was all part of the process. Writing is not an easy task. I think all of the young authors out there will agree with me because it is actually a very difficult thing for us to do. There will be crumpled pieces of paper lying all around us. But then, in the end, it's going to be worth it. This writing process opened a whole dimension of ideas for me, and I'm really grateful for how it turned out in the end. I learned that no matter how many challenges I may face while writing, as long as I was determined, I wouldn't stray far from the path. Now, I would like to read a small excerpt from my story. Everything outside had lost its color and looked faded. The trees and plants had disappeared, and the monuments and buildings were in horrible condition. Even worse, everything was pale and gray, and almost everything looked withered. Lily looked around her in shock, and as in front of her eyes, her beloved village turned into something she never imagined. All of the crops and lawns had been destroyed, and not a single soul was in sight. She closed her eyes and tried not to imagine what had happened to her family and Rarity. Reluctantly, she went outside, only to step into a terrifying scene. Lily was so used to living in a charismatic paradise that she had never learned how to react to something ugly and tormenting. Just then, she saw her friends running towards her. Seeing them made Lily's heart a bit lighter, and she hugged them both. Thank you for your time. I'll be happy to have any questions if you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Redeemer. Our next young author, Megan Ray Tan, wrote her winning story when she was in primary 6, and now she's in the School of the Arts. Megan nearly did not write her winning story. Here's what she shares. I joined the YAS course kudos to my mom's encouragement At first, I was skeptical about joining as the course took place during my precious school holidays. However, I was not disappointed. It opened my eyes to the beauty of writing, and I developed a passion for it. It taught me that writing is a haven where I can express myself in any way that I want, where everything is possible. Now, writing has grown to be an important part of my life. So thank you YAS and Mom for showing me how amazing writing is. Here's Megan to share on her book Serendipity. Megan, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Phua, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Megan Ray Tan, and I am 14 this year. The book that I wrote is titled Serendipity, and now in case you're wondering, what does serendipity mean? It basically goes like this. Serendipity is the occurrence or development of events that happen by chance in a happy or beneficial way. Of course, my book is titled as such because such an event happened in the story. Now, this book tells the story of my orphaned protagonist, Jacqueline Hill. At the age of 6, she was involved in a car accident that took her parents' lives. Jacqueline survived the accident but suffered a head injury that made her lose her memory. She spent the following years of her life hoping to learn more about her past. And one day, as she starts to recall snippets of her old life, a strange boy shows up outside her dormitory door, offering to help Jacqueline. And as this duo unravels more of the past together, Jacqueline realizes that her solution was right in front of her. This story takes place in an empty boarding school during the holidays. The set idea came to me because I was obsessed with the Harry Potter movie sets back then. And I was thinking, man, wouldn't it be cool if I were given the opportunity to explore such a big place by myself? Well, I never got the opportunity to, so I gave my protagonist the opportunity instead. And from there, the story just came to me. I was joking with my mom, saying things like, haha, what if Jacqueline isn't the only one alone in the school? Wouldn't that be freaky? Well, turns out that was a eureka moment in this whole writing process. And the strange boy, who goes by the name of John Roek, joins Jacqueline on her little adventure. And by great serendipity did this little adventure turn into a life-changing one for Jacqueline. How did that happen? Well, I'm afraid that's a spoiler and you'll have to find out for yourself. Speaking of adventures, my writing journey has been quite the adventure itself. Getting published at such a young age, I still find it extremely unbelievable. I thought that I'd be published for the first time when I was a little older, maybe 17 or so. So when I found out about my book and how it was going to be published, needless to say, I was really, really happy about it. And I am still exhilarated just thinking about it. This is really a great opportunity. First of all, it encourages me to write more because, if you can write one book, you certainly can write another. And second of all, I get the opportunity to show my writing off to the world, from my imagination onto paper and into a book that everyone can read. And by the way, shameless plug, but if my synopsis just now piqued your interest, please do consider checking my book out. All in all, after having come this unexpectedly far, my passion for writing has definitely grown. And I look forward to continuing this journey in the future. Now, I've talked about my book and what it has led me to, but what am I hoping to achieve with it exactly? Of course, I hope that everyone who reads my books will enjoy it. But above all, I hope that my book would encourage young readers and writers to know that it is entirely possible to publish a book of your own. Don't be afraid to go out there and show off your writing. Go for it. Actually, to anyone who wants to write a book out there, go for it. Of course, we all feel slight trepidation when we first begin writing, but that fear is temporary. Your pride in your work will always be there. Yeah. Right, wishing all aspiring writers good luck on your journeys. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best week ahead. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you for the inspiring words, Megan. Our final young author is a total bookworm, T. Sim Ling shared. I've always really liked writing mystery stories and non-fiction. I grew up reading newspapers since I was in kindergarten, so informative articles are an interest of mine. Now I have published my work in magazines such as Kid Spirit and Skipping Stones, and I'm the youngest finalist for New Zealand's National Flash Fiction Day Youth Competition. I found the Young Author Awards online, so I decided to submit my mystery story. Let's welcome Sim Ling to share about her book, Enigma Hawker Center. Sim Ling, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Max Phua and all distinguished guests. My name is Sim Ling. I am 14 this year, and I'm very happy to be able to be here and share with you about my book today. My book, Enigma Hawker Center, is about November and Zarif, two budding detectives. They usually dwell in Enigma Hawker Center, the place where their parents work. One afternoon, 15-year-old November almost gets poisoned. They suspect someone's been up to no good. Together with his best friend, 5-year-old Zarif, he needs to find out who did it, but it's harder than it seems. And because it's a mystery, you have to read to find out why. Looking back 2 years after I write this book, what I like about this book is the diverse cast of characters and various themes I wove in, such as family, friendship, and forgiveness. Most importantly, I hope this empowers children who may not usually see themselves in the books they read to believe that they themselves can be heroes in the stories of their lives. To me, being published at 14 is definitely an amazing opportunity, as I have always dreamed of being a writer and putting my work out into the world. However, I know that I still have a long way to go in terms of growth, so I can improve my craft and evolve into the best writer I can be. I wrote this book when I was 12, and looking back, I find the book, for lack of a better word, quite childish. I feel that there are many areas for improvement in terms of aspects like plot, character, and more. So I hope to eventually write better books. This is just a great starting point. I hope this book is an enjoyable and fun read for everyone who reads it. Even though it carries the elements of mystery, I hope it appeals to people who may not normally approach mystery books. So let me now read an excerpt from my book. In this excerpt, November, the main character, goes to interrogate the Prata Bros, Rohit and Sanjay. Mr. Lo's stall was diagonally adjacent to Auntie Biwa's. Unfortunately, the prime suspect was not in, so November decided to tackle the Prata Bros, who were next door, instead. The usual please, he pointed one finger in the air. Guarding the stall was Rohit, the cold-blooded brother of the Prata Bros. He glared at November and shouted the order to his brother. November gulped as he took a seat. Rohit wasn't exactly friendly to him, or to anyone at all, not even his older brother. The next 5 minutes was an awkward blink-off match between the two guys. November tried to break the ice. Let me tell you a joke. Rohit grunted, but he didn't stop November. Why do we tell actors to break a leg? Because of some nonsensical reason? No, because every play has a cast. Get it? Rohit turned away to roll his eyes. Do you have any good jokes? I invented a new word. What is it? Plagiarism. Get it? Well, at least we have something in common, November thought. The ability to tell bad jokes. Thank you!
Thank you, Simling. Let's give a round of applause to all our young authors again. We truly believe kids can write, but first they must enjoy reading. And what a better place to begin than in our own libraries. Now, may we invite on stage our guest of honor, Mr. Max Pua, and our publishers, Ms. Catherine Koh and Mr. Said Ali, to present the books to our authors. Okay, first up, we'd like to present the book to Rauda binti Alias. Next, we have Olivia Chia. Ridima Rampuria. Megan Ray Tan. And finally, Thi Sim Ling. Now, Miss Catherine would like to present a goodie bag to Mr. Max Pua, please. Oh, presented already. Okay. Yeah, it's that one. That's right. May I re-invite everyone back on stage for a group photo, please? Mr. Max Pua, you may remain on stage. Yeah. Mr. Said and our young authors.
Mr. Max Pua in the middle. I think 1 meter, please, those. Agak.
Can stand close, is it? Can stand
Can
close
they?
for group photo?
I think photo can. Got to remove mask. No need. Cannot. Okay.
Go on the left, right?
Yeah, because I'm short, right? So you got to see me between. Okay, all right.
Okay, everyone look here. Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, everyone can do a candid. You can do a thumbs up. Yeah. Alright, look here. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We hope you've had a great time, and we would like to thank those watching online for your support as well. Do visit bookbazaar.sg to purchase titles from the participating publishers at discounts up to 25%. We have a great lineup of activities, workshops, and webinars in the coming days. You don't want to miss that out, so register at eventbrite.sg. Before we end, I think we'd like a big group photo with everyone, right? Okay, so everyone stay put first. Do not leave yet. Our photographer would like to take a group photo of all of you. Right? Okay, smile. Give your best smile. in their seats, right? Okay, we'll do a count, yeah? Photographer ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Come on, Candid.
Can I see more action?
Action.
Okay,
Another
1,
one.
2,
3. Yay!
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget to fill up the survey form to retrieve your free magazine at the registration table. Thank you so much.